Welcome back, and now to tech.
Eris, powering your digital world.
Some interesting tech stories about making the roads and drivers safer. Joining us with more is Dr. Avilia Abraham of the Technology Marketing Department at Superior Academic College. Hello and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
All right, so our producer was like all excited about this whole thing about gifts and making money off of gifts, and I think I don't know, I'm in the dark ages because I didn't know what it was, but I know it's a big deal.
Well, it's really fascinating. I mean, today, if you use the WhatsApp, if you have an Android-powered telephone, you're able to send gifts. Gifts are actually very short clips, if you will, 1-second clips. So if you type in, for example, excited, so it'll bring up a very short clip showing somebody very excited. And the thing with Giphy, which is the company behind the gifts, first of all, it has 200 million users on a daily basis, really serious company, and it wants to start monetizing it, start really making money. So in the future, when you type in, for example, hungry, or if you type in lunch, you might get a GIF which somehow advertises McDonald's, for example. You know, somebody eating a hamburger, and it'll say McDonald's. Or let's say you type in cheers or party, then you'll have two people, you know, drinking a Carlsberg beer. So it's a great...
It's like getting them to sponsor it.
Exactly.
And then they kind of get preference in Google because of their...
Exactly. So they get their brand blended into people's messages. And this is really ingenious because, first of all, it means that a lot of brands will want to adopt the technology, or the medium, if you will, because it means that they can produce very short clips, which is a lot cheaper, and you can get a message across. And people will adopt it because if you get a gift from a friend, you're more likely to relate to it. You're more likely to find it reliable. This is, by the way, one reason why a lot of news networks are losing a lot of viewers or subscribers, because people prefer reading articles that are shared by friends on the social media.
100%. I mean, you've seen the revenue just in my old station, like revenues are just dropping by the millions. But then the challenge is finding a way, you know, to get sponsors, but, you know, needing, you know, numbers and figures and finding a way to monetize it is still kind of a work in progress in the internet world, right?
Exactly, but I'm sure they'll be making a lot of money because I'm sure a lot of brands will be really wanting to adopt this.
All right, so let's talk about Panasonic, a unique way to keep drowsy drivers safe, for not just for themselves, but for the rest of us that are driving next to them.
I was really fascinated by this item that I read. First of all, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, there are about 72,000 accidents a year as a result of people falling asleep.
Wow.
About 40,000 people are injured and 800 deaths on an annual basis.
And I think I remember hearing that a drowsy driver is more dangerous than a drunk driver.
Of course, of course. Now, this technology is ingenious because, first of all, it'll be using artificial intelligence. There'll be cameras in the car, a sensor, and it'll be able to read our facial expressions. So if we're yawning, if we're blinking too often, it can also
like
measure...
going over the line a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's a different technology. That's Mobileye can do. But the thing is that if it's too hot in the car, or if it's too dim, you know, one of the two reasons we fall asleep is because we're too hot and it's too dim. So it will make the light brighter.
Wow.
It will
turn up the radio, the music.
I'm not sure about the radio, but it will make it a lot cooler inside. So it will do everything to make you not fall asleep. Now, if you're really, really drowsy, seriously drowsy, there are 5 levels of drowsiness, not drowsy at all to seriously drowsy, according to Panasonic. If you're really drowsy, nothing will help. An alarm will go off, and it will just say, you know, stop, 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 stop.
Fascinating. I'm sure that will only continue to develop further because it's like just safer. All right, now also electronic vehicle industry expanding to vans and trucks, which is, you know, important from pollution because there's such, you know,
polluters.
What's the right word? Yeah, I don't want to say, I don't want to be PC.
They produce a lot of
black
gas.
smoke comes out. You don't want to be behind them on the road, especially in the summer.
So I know that you've mentioned it on Monday, more and more manufacturers producing electronic cars or hybrid cars, but it looks like trucks are going to lead the way. And one of the reasons is, first of all, like you said, for example, in Europe, large vehicles or heavy vehicles comprise 5% of all vehicles on roads.
And they still use diesel, right?
A lot of them use diesel, which is really a very serious pollutant, and they produce 20% of greenhouse gases, so 4 times their number on the road. And the other thing is that large companies have the money to invest in the technology because it costs a lot of money to buy an electric car, and you can only see the cost benefit in the long run. It's something that private consumers cannot
Right.
do.
Well, I mean, especially, I mean, this is, again, just being socially and environmentally conscious, because it's true. You see just I cannot be behind a truck like that, because you just feel the fumes.
Exactly.
All right. Well, great. Have a great weekend and great items today. Meanwhile, another cool story, an amphibious vehicle no longer just reserved for the Navy SEALs or elite Army units. A Czech inventor has converted a Mercedes van into a vehicle that can drive on roads and then transition into a watercraft. Right now, it's being used as a boat tour in Prague for up to 12 people per trip. It took 8,000 hours to build the prototype, and the goal is to brand them into RVs, rescue boats, and other things that could help in natural disasters. A New York pilot project turns organic waste, methane gas, that in the future will be used for stoves and heating. Here's more.
For Brooklyn residents Sarah Shiwal and daughter Nora, a cooking session often ends in a trip to the brown bin downstairs.
Yeah, we're gonna go outside.
The pair recycles food waste that is to be turned into compost that goes to local farms, landfills, and another unlikely destination. Newtown Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant receives pre-processed food waste daily.
Food waste comes here first.
To use it in an ongoing pilot program to turn it into biogas, explains Deputy Commissioner Pam Alardo.
Food waste is similar to a solids that you get at the wastewater treatment plant. So we decided to try and augment our digesters using the food waste component. It's made into a slurry and it enters our digesters.
Inside the plant's oxygen-free digester eggs, this slurry is broken down by bacteria into water, carbon dioxide, and methane. Alardo says that by adding 60 tons of food waste daily, the production of methane gas went up by 10%.
That's methane. You smell that?
While the pilot program takes place at this one plant, New York has a total of 14 wastewater treatment plants that could substantially increase the production of biogas.
We can get 500 tons per day here, which is our maximum, and we could get something half or similar at all the other plants. We can get thousands of tons a day for food waste. New York City produces 2,000 a ton per day residential and about the same commercial. That's 4,000 tons per day. Potentially this system, this solution could take all the food waste.
Right now, part of the methane is reused to power the plants, while the excess gas is flared into the atmosphere. But in the future, it'll get purified to go back into the city's pipelines to provide energy to heat homes and power stoves, to the excitement of Shiwal.
It's a cycle that I get to be a part of on the front end and the back end. It's pretty incredible, I think.
If all goes well, the project will cook up enough energy to heat more than 5,000 New York City homes and reduce a big chunk of the city's greenhouse gas emissions.
Powering your digital world.
All right, coming up next, Seinfeld calls public speaking as scary as the fear of dying, but live with a local public speaking specialist on how to deliver that important speech without the big, terrifying fear. And women, listen up, sex as a cure for eternal youth. Live with a blogger. And drinking wines from grapes that go back 8,000 years. Our resident wine connoisseur will be here with some samples.